right, everyone, welcome back to Screensavers. I'm Lindsay. I'm joined by Steven and Jacob,
It
and
has been a little
today
while.
we're going to be talking about High School Musical.
Let's
We're
go.
all in this together. And
What
all three High School Musicals.
Yes,
Eventually.
we plan to cover them all. We're not doing that Camp Rock combined it all. These movies deserve an episode each.
Yeah, these movies walked so Camp Rock could run, and as you guys know, Camp Rock ran a little bit of it into the ground, but what do you want?
don't know what you mean.
What do you want?
This movie would have been so much better if Brown was in it.
If Brown was running the school, or if he was like the drama department.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if he worked, you couldn't replace Darbus. I'd rather just have him working alongside her.
Yeah, and they clash, and yeah, would have made for a good
yeah,
dynamic.
think about the dynamic if they did through all three movies the arc of like they end up together. They hate each other's.
Yes, the enemies to lovers.
Yep.
Trope. Yeah.
They hate their guts, and then like during like the second movie they like, touch hands and it's just sparks. Yeah, the end of High School Musical 3 is actually there's an end credit scene where Brown is going to Miss Darbus like, "Oh, I've got a camp.
Sets up the universe.
You wanna come teach some lessons at my camp?"
I know we talked about this when we watched Camp Rock, but did you guys watch High School Musical when it came out?
Yeah,
Yes, I did.
It was in the same vein of all these types of movies on Disney Channel. Like, I was making jokes about it while we were watching, but even Jump In, High School Musical, like all those movies I watched, but I hadn't have people to talk to about it. It's not that I kind of hid watching it, but in a way I did. And then finally found people in school to be friends with that like also had interest in it. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. But I don't think I saw 3 in theaters. I saw the 1 and 2 on TV, and then I didn't go to theaters for the third one.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I watched the first 2 as they came out on the network, and then I never saw the third one in theaters. I actually still have not seen the third one, so when we eventually watch it, it'll be my first time.
Yeah, I did see the third movie in theaters. I went for my birthday, I'm pretty sure. And honestly, I think High School Musical is part of what got me into loving musicals. I think this was like the beginning of, I almost said the beginning of the end. My life ended when I started loving musicals.
Yeah, your old life did, and then your new life started. It's pre-musical for you, and then post-musical.
It's weird to look at it now, knowing what it was. There's no way they thought that it would blow up even close to this. Because I remember when it came out, like it was a huge deal to the point where like if they released the second one in theaters, it probably still would have made money. But they waited until 3.
3 made $250 million
on I assume not that great a budget.
It was 30 mil.
I think 3 had a
That's
bigger
not a lot.
budget.
But for them, in keeping with the other movies, like the budget was only like $4 million for the first one, maybe another $8 million for the second one, and then they kind of they didn't go all out like Disney has in the past. But I guess for that they really, I'm sure they weren't worried about it flopping, but you know, sometimes translating a TV movie series to the screen doesn't exactly work. But if they had released all of them in theaters, I think that would have been a crazy run. But I feel like the first one definitely needed to be on Disney Channel because they were still, that was their thing, was releasing movies on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
If they made another one, do you think they'd release that in theaters, or would they throw that over to Disney Plus?
It's probably going to be a Disney Plus.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because it would make money. But the thing is that like Zac Efron's going to command a lot more money now.
He'd be like, I want 20 million.
There's no point of making it if he's not in it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It would, if they decided to do one like right after the third one and no one was coming back, it would have been one of those sequels where it's the fringe characters that now become the main characters. Like Zeke probably would be the main character because he's the only guy they could get back.
Oh, it would be it would be like after Steve Carell left The Office.
Yeah, just an entire High School Musical 4 is just all about creme brulee.
Never got to see it. Never got to see that creme brulee come to life.
You'll have to wait until we watch more movies. There might be a payoff
for that.
Oh,
really?
Who knows?
Really? Oh, I don't remember. Okay.
Yeah, Kenny knows what he's doing. You could honestly, I think it's more emotion tied to the creme brulee, but this is almost like how in Camp Rock with the birdhouse type deal.
Okay, yeah.
So he's all about the birdhouse, and then Zeke's all about the creme brulee, and then they finally, kind of get him to do it.
So the opening scene of this movie, where were they supposed to be again?
Oh, they were in a ski resort.
Where though?
I feel like it was like Utah or something.
Oh, it says Utah.
Okay.
I was right.
You were right. Which is funny because we found out that they filmed at a high school in Utah. That's the setting for East
Yeah.
High. As you pointed that out, Jacob, you're like, what kind of fucking place has a high school like this?
Yeah, it looked like California. Like every movie you see where they're in high school in California, that's what the school looked like.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we found out Mormons got that cheddar.
They do. Who's donating to the church?
Speaking of Troy's dad, in my notes, I just said he is a basketball. He is
He is a
just
basketball.
he is a basketball. Like, that is the only thing he thinks about is basketball.
Yeah. He was the original. I don't know if you, Steve, you definitely know who this was, but Lindsay, you know who LeVar Ball is?
No.
Yes, wait, I do. I do.
No, but
Yeah,
Troy's an only child, Jacob.
Coach Bolton. I don't know. Maybe he's gotten to something.
So we start off in the ski resort. There's a teen party that Troy and Gabriella are forced to go to by their parents. Gabriella doesn't want to go. She just wants to read because she's smart.
She's the
She's a
freaky math
freaky
girl.
genius girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I've never heard anyone refer to anyone like that. They're just,
No.
they're like the smart kids in school, but you wouldn't
Mhm.
call them. Maybe 2006 was a different
Yeah.
time. I
Well,
don't
listen,
know.
smart kids do. I don't know if it's like so much of a thing now, but like smart kids do get made fun of. But I don't know if you'd ever call one freaky.
Yeah, right?
The entire trope of like high school in Disney is always like exaggerated and stuff. When you bring up the whole thing about her being the freaky smart girl, she's so smart that at this party where she wants to read, she just plops herself in the middle of the room in front of everybody to get some privacy, which I pointed to you, Jacob, while we were watching, being like, you as the seasoned reader amongst us, how would you have picked a spot in this room?
You gotta be in a corner somewhere.
Yeah.
You can't put yourself out there like that if you don't want this to happen to you.
They're having a karaoke show and she sits right behind the mic practically and then goes, I didn't want to do this.
Which, by the way, no karaoke thing, like, no one's ever gonna pick you against your will to sing a song. Like,
No.
this part doesn't make any sense. I know we're not supposed to think too hard about it, but, like, this would never happen.
The Mormon ski resorts are just free-for-alls.
But they were literally dragging them on stage.
Yeah.
And then, one day you guys are gonna thank me for this.
Hey, you know what? Someday you guys might thank me for this. Or not.
Or not.
Do you think that in the future led to a big fight between Troy's parents because this would be the spark for him losing his passion for basketball?
While we're watching all of these, I'm going to continue a storyline that's off screen that's not happening, but it is to me, about this type of scenario with Troy's mom and dad. Because especially with this movie, it's like the whole thing is his dad not so much living through Troy, but in a way trying to be like, oh, I had fun doing this, so you have to do exactly what I did. And then at the end, he's like, nah, you can still play basketball, but I just want you to have fun. Clearly, that's not all you want, because you wouldn't be upset at him for wanting to spend time doing the music.
I was gonna say, like, I honestly don't really understand the conflict in this movie. Like, I think it's sort of silly, but the guy who wrote the movie actually drew inspiration from his real life because he knew someone who wanted to be a ballet dancer. And it was like trying to balance those things, I guess, which I thought was kind of interesting.
The part that's kind of ridiculous is the idea that like his dad doesn't want him to do anything else. Like you said, you're not supposed to look too deeply into this, but like in actuality, if you're a really good athlete, it benefits you to play more or do other things. But the part that I do think is actually realistic is just in general is if he told his dad he wanted to do theater and his dad was like, nah, that's sissy shit. That's the part I can see actually happening because that's totally a thing.
Yeah, and I feel like the subtext in this movie, and they could never do this because it was Disney Channel, but like all of his friends were basically like, that's gay.
Yes.
Don't do theater.
They
like,
couldn't say it, but yeah,
what was going on.
What it was.
With the dad, I was making up a story that he is somehow like a degenerate gambler, and Troy's path to stardom and the pros is the only way for him to get out of the debt that he has accrued, because we find out that he was a player back in 81. So it's been 25 years since he's been in high school, and he's still the coach there. All he wants is his son to have fun, as he calls it. And I'm like, that's dad speak for, if you don't stop singing, if you don't take this shit seriously.
See, we're gonna see that man on American Squid Game.
Yeah, he's playing jockey, and Troy's in the background, like on a marquee for like some, theater performance because he didn't go the basketball route. They had to sell their house. The mom, who I don't know if we ever meet her in the next movies, but for this movie she's not there, she's off screen, so that probably leads to them getting divorced, and then he's on Squid Game.
They gave her the role of Mitchie's dad in Camp Rock. She's just not there.
They sing
Oh,
Start
right.
of Something New, which in universe is only called Something New. I don't know if you noticed that, but they do that. I feel like Troy's being a little creepy when they're singing together, like once they start loosening up a little bit.
You mean he's getting a little too close? Did it seem to you that she didn't want that, or do you think it was just weird in general that he was doing that?
I think it was just weird in general.
They wrote it for them to both be into it, obviously.
They sing together and they, I guess like each other from the limited interaction they had. So they exchange phone numbers, don't
And
talk.
don't know they go to the same school yet, right?
Yeah, and they don't know they
Yeah.
go to the same school yet until Gabriella shows up in Troy's homeroom and he recognizes her and he tries calling her phone, which then everybody pulls out their phones and everybody gets detention because Miss Darbus hates cell phones.
I didn't know cell phones were a problem back then.
Yeah, because
That
we wouldn't have
was-
had cell phones at that age.
No, yeah.
When it was 2006 for us, we wouldn't have had
Mhm.
cell phones.
Also, she's transferred schools multiple times, right?
Yeah.
She says the mom needs to take a stand here.
Yeah, then it turns into Troy and her connecting now that they're at the same school, but then immediately Troy has to hide the fact that he sang with her at this party from his jock friends, which is just is the great trope of no, I can't have my boys seeing that I sing. Nah,
See, but again, you can at least see that happening, right? Them making fun of him for that.
Oh no, that's the thing. It's most things that happen in Disney Channel movies are real, but they go to the top degree of it.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
all very exaggerated.
Jocks can't sing, so let's just make it seem like he can't actually do it because they're gonna prevent him themselves from doing it. And then even the dad is just beyond livid that he makes it a point to say, "Oh, Troy, you haven't missed a single practice in 3 years, and now you've missed one, and it's all over. I am not gonna stand for this, son. How dare you make a new once-in-a-lifetime potentially friend?" And then the drama club president, Sharpay Evans, walks into the scene. And there's all, "Oh, you're gonna join our spring musicale? Oh yeah, we need background people and all that stuff."
So they see the sign-up board for the musical, and for some reason it's broken down between pairs and singles auditions, which I've never seen before. I mean, that could be how it's done. Usually you audition by yourself and then they pair you with someone, if it is gonna be like that, but
Yeah, this seems like a type requirement that is probably only made by Sharpay and Ryan, so that they are default the only people that ever get picked as the pair because they're the only ones. They're the only ones who perform as a pair, as we find out, because the only other one to compete against them is Troy and Gabriella.
Actually, correction, there is that one pair of students that auditions together, and Miss Darbus is like, "That was very disturbing, go see a counselor."
Right.
Yeah, they do get failed, yeah.
Well, that was just very disturbing. Go see a counselor.
We do have to point out the fact that canonically, Jesse from Breaking Bad was potentially attending this high school.
Yes.
In New Mexico. Oh yeah, so when they were freshmen, he had just graduated. But
Walt would have been teaching at the school.
Yeah.
So he could have he could have been.
Oh, dude, they were in a science class, but not his. They were literally in a lab, and it wasn't his lab.
So you said they usually don't pair you up until after you audition.
Yeah, usually I feel like what happens with auditions is you audition, and then, I mean, I don't know how it is for high school theaters, but in other contexts, they'll do chemistry reads with you and other people.
Okay.
And that's how they pair you up, as opposed to two people coming in to audition together.
Gotcha. Would they be opposed to that if you were like, "No, we're doing this together"?
I don't know. I guess for a high school, I feel they'd let you do whatever. Probably.
Oh, for sure. It's probably really loose.
Probably, yeah. I don't know. I guess Sharpay and Ryan have to audition together, which
they run that school.
Yeah.
There's just no two ways about it. They manipulate everyone pretty successfully. I have to kind of respect it.
I feel like there's some underlying possibilities that like Miss Darbus was like is almost in on it with them, who like if she could do it her way and was not like, not that she's forced, but I'm sure she has to open up auditions for everyone. But in her world, she probably wouldn't even hear auditions for the lead part. She would just give it right to Ryan and Sharpay.
Agreed.
But they do it. They do. Miss Darbus is doing the, oh, we're always hiring, but she's shooting down people left and right.
Yeah.
She walks into the auditorium, sits down at that table, and just knows she's saying no to the people that are not Ryan and Sharpay.
The three of them were the original gatekeepers.
Yeah, because Sharpay talks about how she's been in so many productions.
17.
Yeah, 17.
Yeah.
Which, you know,
school productions.
we tried doing the math on this with it being, okay, let's say it's only high school ones she's counting. Say they do 3 a year for every season.
Which they normally wouldn't. You know, they would probably only do 2 a year, if that.
But they got a good arts program in New Mexico.
And budget for a garage.
Yeah, this is a nice school.
It's a really nice
school. The
school.
cafeteria is so nice. 3 floors, and try doing that number in our cafeteria.
No, wouldn't work.
I guess we would have the courtyard to play with as far as like like levels. Other than that, the lunchroom was just one level. They have enough money to get, you know, all the fancy mics, and for Sharpay and Ryan especially, who have it all bedazzled and it's the wireless mic pack, back in 06 would have probably run them a couple grand just for their setup. You know, we did the math, say where she's in 3 musicals a year, and then it's her junior year, it's the second one. She would have only been at 10, so I don't know what other performances that
wouldn't she have only been at 8?
Yeah, it would be 8.
Okay.
So
so the timeline goes, okay, so this movie junior year, summer to senior year 3.
Yeah, and so even less than 10. Yeah, 8. But she says she's in 17, so I'm like, I don't know if she's counting. Maybe they do way more productions that they get on about that we don't know, or she's just counting numbers from like
middle school. We kind of decided, right?
Yeah.
It would have to be.
Here's my thing. This Twinkletown musical, right? There are pairs auditions, but are the pairs auditions for romantic leads? Is it supposed to be a couple? Because Ryan and Sharpay are twins.
Ryan and Sharpay give me kind of Cersei and Jaime vibes from Game of Thrones. And if you guys know anything about Game of Thrones, they are very, very, very close.
My comparison for I don't know if either of you have seen Blades of Glory. Yeah, it's a comedy with Lindsay's favorite, Will Ferrell.
Hold on, wait a minute. You don't like Will Ferrell?
No.
In that movie, it's a brother and sister played by Amy Poehler and Will Arnett, and it's the same type of vibes where they compete. They're figure skaters in the movie. They compete together all the time, but the moves they do look like they're freaking a married couple. That's what I always think of when I think of Sharpay and Ryan.
Do we have a script for Twinkletown? We need to read that.
So they do the audition, and honestly, I think Sharpay and Ryan's version of what I've been looking for is the superior version.
I do too. I don't know if I said this yesterday, but I kind of agree.
Yeah, like I don't care that Kelsey had it written a different way. She's wrong, okay?
Yeah. You're not in 17 productions for no reason. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah, but she's the nerdy girl with the glasses and the Che Guevara hat. She obviously knows what she's doing.
Then Troy and Gabriella were like spying on the auditions, and they realized that they did actually want to audition, but it was too late. And then Kelsey drops all of her music, and they help her pick it up, and they sing the song the way it's supposed to sound, which I have questions about, because as far as we know, they can't read music.
Nope.
But somehow they are reading this music. Miss Darbus hears them, and she said, yeah, you get a callback.
See, that makes sense for her to say, yeah, you guys, like, that was good enough for you guys to to get a callback. I do think it was the worst version. I think you pointed out, Lindsay, when we were reviewing Camp Rock 2, I think it was the second one, when they were just reading one of Mitchie's songs, and he was like, that's a nice beat. How do you know?
They're just so musically inclined to know what it sounds like.
I can sense it.
You might as well just have like characters written on a sheet, and then Jacob, you can go, yeah, I know what kind of book I can write with this.
Yeah.
Oh, these 5 characters in a story? Oh, I got it already right here. Yeah.
I'm like the shaman lady from the Squid Game.
But everyone starts going crazy because Troy and Gabriella got a call back, and it's posted and everybody can see it. And I get why Sharpay's upset. I mean, maybe not upset that they get a call back, but just upset in general that these outsiders are trying to infiltrate their drama club when that's like her thing. You know, I've seen so many videos where it's like Sharpay's not actually the villain, like she's trying to, and I'm not saying she's not the villain because she still kind of is, but I feel like it is understandable why she's upset about all this.
I understand why she's like, because she didn't see the audition. They had left at that point, and so she was under the assumption that they did not audition. So for that, I'm like, yeah, that kind of makes sense. I do agree that she should probably be upset about that.
Yeah, she was just so used to just not having to try for her roles that the first competition that comes along in forever, she just broke and didn't know how to handle it.
She's like Denzel, she doesn't have to audition.
Everyone freaks out about this and they sing Stick to the Status Quo, which is like such a banger.
It really was.
And you know, that's when we learn about Zeke and his creme brulee and Martha and her hip hop dancing and the cello druggy guy.
Her name was Martha?
Yeah, that's her name, isn't it?
I didn't recognize that she had a name. To me, she was just fat bitch.
Wow.
Jacob, that's the character she was playing, and that's a character that's in a lot of movies. And
oh no, it is a character that's in a lot of movies.
Of this time, like that's just a trope. She dances in this scene, and then that's really it. She's not in, so it's just like, yeah, she's the big one that dances. She can pop it and lock it.
Yeah, she's a unicorn.
I also just have in my notes, Chad sucks.
Oh, he does.
Like that's the note. He sucks. He's a terrible friend.
Why would you not want someone to make you a nice creme brulee?
Right?
You got
That's
a friend,
so good.
You got a friend on the team who wants to bake for you. Your other friend who is potentially going to be in a relationship and is singing and having a good time. And he's just like, no, we play basketball.
I have it that Gabriella said that she can't have people staring at her, but she auditioned for a musical. And this does come back around at the end. So it's not like she just said it and then magically she didn't have like stage fright or something. It does come back.
See, here in the beginning when she first says it, it doesn't bother me because it's probably true. And she did seem like she was auditioning as a last second sort of decision.
Yeah.
Just to do it. But when they've successfully completed their elaborate plan to get all of this to work, and she's like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah.
I would have broken at that point and been like, are you kidding me after all this? Because he was so calm about it. I would not have been that calm.
Yeah.
He's missing practices. He's he's probably got no sleep because he has to do homework still and all this stuff. Trying to get this to work.
Figure out how they're gonna do all of this at the same time.
Yeah, they're planning a full-on, we're gonna upload a virus to the school software to malfunction the whole thing so we could get this to happen at the same time because, yeah, that's something Ryan and Sharpay, well, I think it's mostly Sharpay's idea to move the, it was one of those things where Ryan says the plan out loud, not realizing it's the plan, and then Sharpay goes, oh yeah, that would work if they were at the same time. And he goes, yeah, but then Troy and Gabriella would, do
and
that.
To sort of prove your point about Darbus being on their side the whole time, she doesn't fight it at all and says like, oh, this is a great idea. It's actually a great idea. And never really says why.
Yeah. And then they show up like late again. I know we're jumping ahead, but they show up late again and she's like, you can't audition. We don't have a pianist. And then Kelsey's like, haha, I'm here actually.
I am a penis.
Penis here, Mr. Jarvis.
Yeah.
Wait, I'm a pianist?
Penis here, Mr. Jarvis.
Can we just talk about how they allow kids on the roof at this school with no adult supervision? Like somehow the kids can just get up to the roof.
Nice little garden up there.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's cute.
Little garden on the rooftop, hangout spot where Troy eats bread.
Yeah, where he just eats bread.
Cheese sandwich.
Eating bread.
That was the first inkling that I started to really run with the dad's gambling problem because Troy is on reduced lunch because of that.
And the dad is just so, like, hostile to Gabriella for no reason.
He really is.
Like, just is being a total douche to her because she, like, showed up while Troy was, I almost said rehearsing. Oh my god. When he was practicing basketball by himself.
Yeah, he was very rude. Anger, obviously not at her, but directed towards her because he's upset with his son.
Yeah.
And I think it was funny that she walked out the opposite way. Like she left the gym the opposite way, even though the door to to the school was right there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see you later, Troy.
You as well, Miss Montez.
But there's a whole like theme throughout this movie of like like he's the glue of this team.
Yes.
And that they will cease to function if he doesn't
Mhm.
play or his head's not in the game. I don't know that that's true. Like he even said like, hey, there are 12 players on this team.
Yeah.
Guys, come on. I mean, there's 12 people on this team, not just me.
My belief is that he's just, because it does happen in youth sports a lot where there is somebody who is so much better than everyone else, especially at that level, that you can just carry a team, and he's just that guy. I'm assuming nobody else is really all that good.
Yeah, it's just poor leadership on his dad's part to be like,
Yes.
like
Aren't
when
you
he,
the coach, man?
yeah, he's the coach, and you recognize that your son's the only good player. Maybe, I don't know, focus on the other kids, you idiot, or get some better players or something. But yeah, he says the line, Jacob, where he's like, not only is this team depending on you, but the whole school.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you do affects not only this team, but the entire school.
Okay, first off, they do not at all make this school seem like it's all about basketball, because
No.
it's just a high school that has a basketball team and also has all of these other departments, the drama and all that stuff. Whereas like
Yeah.
you look at other movies that are about high school sports where it's like, oh, the football team is everything. It really
Yeah.
is everything. Like they're always
Yeah,
wearing
it's not-
their jerseys.
Yeah,
They-
it's not like this is Texas football.
Yeah.
This is not that big a deal.
But that's what he's treating it like. New Mexico high school basketball is the creme de la creme, and Troy is the LeBron James of this team, and there's nobody else on it. And he's like, yeah, Troy, if you come down, the whole school's gonna come down. And I'm like, okay, is that what your coach was telling you back in 81?
I'm sort of getting the impression too that this school is like one of those schools that just dominates the area and it just wins every year, or is expected to win every year. So
Mhm.
what's the big deal here? They're probably gonna win anyway, even if he's half paying attention. Because they named all those where they have they have the intervention with Troy in the locker room where they
Mhm.
bring up all the past champions and MVPs and championship years. They named like 10 years where they won. So it's like, oh, clearly this school just wins every year. It's
That's
just one of those. Every state has one, or area has one of those schools where it's like there's nobody who's gonna beat them.
It's
Yeah.
almost like a dynasty school, and when you have that many as a dynasty school, you can't put it on one kid every year. At that point, you would have to have a good enough program where you could cultivate multiple kids at once. But in this case, maybe I'm only thinking about it now that we're talking about it, but maybe we were not realizing that his dad is actually a shitty coach.
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting
Just-
that vibe.
Just because you were good at playing doesn't mean you can coach the sport. And like I know that stuff firsthand, even like as myself trying to like coach kids. And I think that was maybe like a hidden theme of the movie was he's not only is he trying to live vicariously through Troy because it's been 25 years since he played, but he also is probably realizing himself that, God, I can't coach this team as good as I played on it. Oh,
Yeah.
God, why can't all these kids be as good as my son? And
This is ironically a common theme in professional basketball where former players come back to coach and they just can't.
shout out my boy Jason Kidd.
Yeah, Jason Kidd, Derek Fisher, where are you at?
Because, I think it realized now because like, oh, that whole chest pass drill, that's what
They needed it.
that's what you got running is chest passing. Oh yeah, maybe we didn't realize the problems were maybe Troy is holding up the whole school. That's the school's fault. That's not Troy. That's way too much pressure to put on this child.
And then he admits it at the end where they try to do their typical like, oh, we're gonna reconcile thing.
Right before the game too. It's always right
Yeah.
before the game.
Troy, it really doesn't matter if we
Yeah,
win.
Troy, I know I've been riding you and ruining your possible chance with a relationship with Gabriella. But you know what? Just go have fun, kid. That's all I want. That's all every dad ever wants, see their kid have fun.
You say as long as fun is dropping 50 tonight.
As long as fun is signing an entry-level contract with the NBA.
Mhm.
If you're drafted below number 5, you're out of the house.
Hey, that was allowed back then. You could draft out of high school.
Yep.
Well, they, like you said, they do the thing where they, hack the school and they make it so like the scoreboards and the lights in the gym malfunction. They make that beaker explode. Well, not explode, but they have the beaker full of gross stuff that evacuates the decathlon.
Oh, we missed the part where they were in cahoots to get them to break up.
ruin them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Well,
It's not.
when they sent
And
the
the fact that
Wi-Fi
it
signal.
worked was just like,
Yeah. Like, but even we were saying, like, there's no way you're friends with these people again after this.
No.
After you figured everything out.
Oh yeah. It'd be me and Gabriella versus the world at that point.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, you guys all fucking suck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole, oh, it's for your own good or whatever, it's just like,
No.
I, as a human being, I understand where people come from on that stuff, but it still doesn't mean it's not wrong.
No, there'd be John Wick levels of revenge coming.
Yeah, they make the little, the beaker go so they can get all evacuated, and that's the other thing, they evacuate the gym, but then they're still able to stay in the school and go to the auditorium.
Which has power.
Yep. So
Yeah.
it's proving how fucking big this school is.
They've got 2 power grids.
Yeah.
So they get everyone in the theater. Like you said, they're late again, but then finally Miss Darbus is so excited because all these people show up to watch them.
Yeah.
And even Ryan and Sharpay are like, we'll do it again for them if you want, which honestly could have backfired if they tried to do that. But unfortunately, we didn't get to see that. And then, yeah, Troy and Gabriella go to perform. And like you said, Gabriella gets all of a sudden all like, oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do this. And Troy was probably like, bro, don't even fucking start right now. I swear to God, you're going out there.
My friends were right about you.
Yeah.
I want to know what the plot of Twinkletown is. And
I'd like
how
to know,
all
yeah.
of these songs fit. Like what I've been looking for, Bop to the Top and Breaking Free are all part of this one musical. And I'm not saying you can't have songs that like sound different, you know, like different styles in the same show, but I'm just really curious like what Bop to the Top has to do with the other songs and what it has to do with the plot. Like I'm just curious.
It's about stealing Hispanic jobs is what it's about.
All right, guys, I'm on the High School Musical fandom page for Twinkletown. All right, first off, known characters for this are
Minnie and Arnold.
Minnie Arnold, the incredible Mr. Shane, and Johnny Omni.
Johnny Omni? What a name.
And it shows the songs as only the 3 songs that we know of. Which you just said, Lindsay. Twinkletown is a musical that was produced, directed, and written by Miss Darbus. It was written and composed by Kelsey Nielsen. The play was performed at East High during the winter season. Plot. It's set in the 1970s New York.
That's it?
It's all about glitz, glamour, and high fashion, essentially causing it to be known as Twinkletown.
Okay.
Oh, so New York is Twinkletown. Okay. The one area in particular is the Diamond District. A protagonist named Minnie is the non-fussy daughter of the incredible Mr. Shane. He is the leading diamond industry businessman who earned his name for his large wealth and status. Minnie is a young girl who wants to live by her own rules and find true love, even if her dad controls everything in the Diamond District, including his daughter. Oh yeah, he allows her to date or not and keep her dreams contained.
Where are they getting these details from?
Yeah, where are they getting these details?
There's a reminder here. Since the full storyline for this play is unconfirmed, it is recommended that every user should take some grain of salt because the plot was pieced together in an unofficial video and brainstormed into a cohesive series of events.
Wait, what do you mean unofficial video? We're talking like, did they just got this from a fan video?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Oh, so this is fake.
Well, yeah, it's fandom.
Somebody's got to figure this out.
Yeah, so that's the plot of Twinkletown.
Allegedly.
Don't think. Yeah, allegedly.
Can I just say, and I think I said this when we were watching it too, and for those of you in the audience who don't know, but I'm sure all of you do, that Zac Efron in the first movie only sang like part of it, and the rest was sung by Drew Seeley. And if you don't know who Drew Seeley is, he had a lot of like Disney songs like back during this era, you know, like 2006 to let's say 2012. He was on a lot of Disney Channel movie soundtracks, but it is so distracting when it cuts from Zach's voice to Drew's voice because there is such a clear difference in how it sounds. You can tell it's 2 different people.
Oh yeah.
Especially because Zach's is better. I was like, why'd they even put Drew's voice in it at all, you know?
Drew was the one who went on tour with them when they did the High School Musical tour.
Did they do one?
They did like a concert tour.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He was there playing Troy in the concert tour.
Makes sense. Zach did nothing.
He did the dancing. The dance was pretty good.
Sure.
They do their performance, and I almost said they win.
They
don't
stole the
win,
hearts of
but
the crowd.
They get cast in the show, and they win the basketball game. They win the Scholastic Decathlon.
Clean sweep.
And they're all in this together.
You just couldn't help yourself. I saw you sitting with that on your tongue.
Maybe they were right. This school is now a force to be reckoned with in everything.
With all like just organic work from their own. Like there was no influx of cash for this. This was just all they got was Gabriella to the school, and now they have everything. And the principal's probably like, oh god, this is the best transfer we've had in a long time. Oh my god, thank you, Miss Montez.
If they lost this game, they were going to be working with like Moneyball, East High version.
Yeah, they'd have to bring in someone new to just gut the whole entire staff.
Where's Brad Pitt?
Oh yeah, guys, we didn't put
Letterboxd, right?
our ratings for
Yeah.
this.
Oh yeah.
I gave it a 3. What did you guys end up giving it?
I also gave it a 3.
Oh, 3's all around. I think it was a formulaic Disney Channel movie.
So I was like, so this came out in what, 06?
Yeah.
And Camp Rock came out in 08. It's crazy to me how for a first time movie, the production value in this, not like with them not knowing that it was going to be the mega hit that it became, was so much better than the original Camp Rock.
Yeah, it really was.
It was noticeably better. There were actual people, you know, because there were like 10 people in that camp in the first movie in Camp Rock.
Yeah.
But there were the school felt populated. It felt like an actual school.
Mhm.
I have to wonder if they just got, or I'm assuming they did, just got people who from around the area just to
Yeah,
fill
I
that
think
space.
so.
But it felt so much more lived in.
Kenny Ortega just doesn't miss.
What numbers? I don't know what numbers this actually did, because I know the ratings were insane when it came out.
Oh, it's 7.7 million in its premiere broadcast, breaking
For
the
a Disney
then
Channel movie is crazy.
breaking the then record for the highest premiere for the network. It says as of 2019, over 225 million unique viewers have watched High School Musical. I don't know where they
Jeez.
calculated that.
What were your favorite songs from this movie?
Well, Breaking Free
'Cause I-
is obviously the...
I was gonna say Breaking Free is the big one, followed closely by Stick to the Status Quo.
That might be my favorite.
That's a good one.
Oh, see, I really enjoyed the cultural appropriation in Bop to the Top. It almost felt like they were another verse away from just saying any word in Spanish.
Listen, to be fair, it's so hard to find actual Hispanic people in New Mexico.
Yeah.
Right. Do you guys know about the cut scene from High School Musical 2 that is also appropriating culture?
No, who?
Not off the top of my head,
We'll
no.
have to get to that when we watch it.
I don't remember it, no.
Because it wasn't in like the original broadcast. That was on like the DVD, I think.
Oh, so they cut it from the final?
Yeah. I don't even know
Okay.
that it's in the Disney Plus version.
So they do have these movies physically.
Yeah, I think I have them on DVD. Or at least 1 and 2. I don't know if I have 3.
Yeah, I remember watching 2 when it came. I don't know, when did 2 come out? Like a couple years later, I assume?
I feel like 2008 or 2009, maybe.
They were pumping these movies out. It had to have been fun to work on a Disney Channel movie, knowing that you don't really have to take your job all
Yeah.
that seriously. You just have to,
Mhm.
you just have to have fun with it.
Yeah.
Do you have favorite Disney Channel movies? Like obviously, like this would be on there for you, Lindsay. Like, do you have other ones?
This Camp Rock obviously
Mhm.
is part of it. I don't know. I haven't like rewatched a lot of them, so I would have to like really think about it and maybe rewatch some of them because I know I watched them all when they came out. Like Cheetah Girls, you know, I
Yep.
watched that when it came out.
Yeah.
Twitches.
What?
Um,
Which is the Cheetah Girls movie where they kicked Raven out?
That was 3. I've never
3,
seen that
okay.
one. I
Oh,
don't.
you haven't? I
The
have
Cheetah
seen that
Girls
one.
are nothing without Raven.
You never watched
That's-
One
I'm
World?
not watching the Raven free. No.
I did watch that one. I liked Smart House. I liked Minutemen.
Hmm.
There was this really
Minutemen's good.
disturbing movie. I don't know if you guys remember. I think I brought it up maybe on this show when we talked about Camp Rock, called Can of Worms. Do you remember this at all?
I remember the name, but I don't know that I've seen it.
I don't remember a whole lot about it. I just remember watching it as a kid and thinking this is just really gross and disturbing for a Disney Channel movie. It was about like aliens and that whole weird thing, but it's just really strange. I gotta just fast forward through it one day because it was just odd.
Yeah.
Normally Nickelodeon was like the network that would have just pushed the envelope as far as what is kid humor or not, largely
Mhm.
due to a certain man named Dan Schneider.
Hey, shout out the fleet.
But Disney Channel made some bangers back in the day. And we did ask last time, like, are they still making these on a regular basis? And we don't really have confirmation about that. The last big one that
Mhm.
came out was, I think, Descendants launched on Disney Channel, and now I believe they all come out on Disney Plus first when they release. So even that is sort of gone from the network.
Yeah, so the last official Disney Channel movie release was Under Wraps 2, which was
The Mummy movie.
September of 2022. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're at a point now where Disney Plus, they've realized, is not the cash cow that they thought it was going to be. Thank you, Bob Chapek. And they're just putting like smaller projects on there, which I am 100% in favor of. I don't need like big MCU shows and stuff on there. Just give me like the little like animated stuff. That's what I want on there. Did you guys watch Even Stevens?
Yeah,
Oh,
Beans.
When
yeah.
she was in that?
Beans.
Yeah, I
Beans the
loved
goat.
that
Even
show.
Stevens
Do you
movie.
remember the subplot in Even Stevens where his parents were aliens?
No.
Yeah, there was an episode where they were trying to, 'cause they'd never
No.
met his parents before, and they were trying to figure out like who they were. And there's an end scene where they like sneak into his house, and his parents are just like prosthetic aliens.
Yeah, I remember the movie. I watched that a bunch.
I love that movie with Tim Meadows.
You've been got.
Yeah, that was a great movie.
That's High School Musical 1. Well, I'm excited that we're gonna hopefully dive into the other two.
Yeah, this had been the first time I had watched this in full, and probably I don't know when I stopped watching Disney Channel, but it's been a long time, so it's kind of fun to see it again. Will be fun to see 2. I also remember liking 2 better because of the setting, but I don't. Funny enough, I don't. I remember more about the plot of this one than I do 2. I just remember like the setting of 2, but not really what it was about.
I honestly can't remember what the plot is, other than that I know they're working at a country club. I
I
only
remember that
them
song on
working.
the baseball field. I remember that, but
I
Yup.
don't dance. I know you can. Yeah, they got some bangers in this one. If we end up doing all 3 of them at the end, we'll have to make a whole.
Tier list.
We'll have to find because there's gonna be some bad songs. Which for this one, there wasn't so much bad where it was like, but they didn't have many people singing in this one, so that's probably why. I think they start to, if I'm not mistaken, open it up more so that like other people start singing instead of just the 4 of them essentially. Okay.
all right.
Thanks for watching,
All right.
guys.
Everybody
Bye.
again. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Follow us on social media.
Yeah, like,
Bye.
subscribe, Patreon, OnlyFans.